All right, so this is how to solve absolute value equations. All right, let's say you have one like this. You want to think of those absolute values as walls. Okay, you can't add the 3 yet because there are these walls here that are protecting it. Okay, so we have to bring the walls down first. So let's bring that down. All right, and when we do that, we're going to end up with two equations. We're going to end up with a positive and a negative. So what that means is the inside stays the same for both equations, 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3. And the outside, this is the one that changes. One is going to be positive, so we have positive 15, and we have negative 15. All right, so now we want to solve each of those individually. So let's solve this positive one first. So how do we solve this? It's a two-step equation. We want to add 3 to both sides. These cancel out. We get 2x equals 18. And then we want to get rid of this times 2. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. These cancel out, and we get x equals 9. All right. And now let's do the next one. Same thing. So opposite of subtracting 3 is adding 3. Let's cancel out. We get 2x equals negative 12. And opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. These cancel out. We get x equals negative 6. All right, and those are the two answers. X equals 9 and x equals negative 6. All right, so if you look at question 2, it says the absolute value of x plus 9 equals negative 8. Now, notice that I just left a little bit of space here. The reason why is because right away we'll know this one has no solutions. Why? Because the absolute value is the distance of the number to 0. Okay, now is it possible to have a negative distance? Nope. Okay, so because we have because it equals a negative, we know right away this is no solution. It's not possible to have a negative distance. All right, and number 3 looks different from number 1 and number 2. The reason why is because we have this 4 and this minus 6 on the outside. Okay, so again, we need to bring down these walls, but before we do that, we need to get rid of the 4 and that minus 6 first. So you can think of it as like 4y minus 6 equals 14. Okay, think of it like that. And then how would you solve this problem? So this problem, we would add 6 first. These cancel out. We get 4 times absolute value of 3x plus 7 equals 20. And then we would divide by 4 on both sides. Okay, so just think of that. Think of this absolute value as one term, okay, as a variable. Okay, so we end up with the absolute value by itself. Yay! 3x, absolute value of 3x plus 7 equals 5. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And now, it's just like the first problem. We want to bring down those absolute value walls. One is plus, one is minus. So the inside does not change. 3x plus 7, 3x plus 7. The only thing that changes is the outside. So one is positive and one is negative. And I'll explain why that is in class. So here, now we want to solve this one. So we want to get rid of that plus 7. So subtract 7 on both sides. We get 3x equals 5 minus 7 is negative 2. And the opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So we divide both sides by 3. And here we get x equals negative 2/3. And over here, same thing, subtract 7 on both sides. Cancels out, we get 3x equals negative 12. Now we're going to divide both sides by 3 again. We get x equals negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. Ta-dum! That's it. All right, and it's okay to have a fraction. All right, so now there might be a question where it's going to give you a word problem and you want to write the absolute value equation. Okay, for example, for a pie eating contest, pie. The minimum number of pies a contestant is allowed to eat is 2. The most pies is 15. Write an absolute value equation that represents the minimum and maximum lengths. Oh, oops. Pies. Alright, so the first step is to find the average. Now remember from middle school, average is you have to add the two numbers and then divide by how many numbers you added together. And since we added 2 together, we're going to divide by 2. I should have chose a different number. Oh, well, it's okay. So we have 2 plus 15 divided by 2. Okay. And 2 plus 15, that's going to give us 17 divided by 2. It's going to give us, and we're going to put it in decimal form. Okay. If you calculate that, you're going to get 8.5. Now the next step is you want to find the difference of maximum and the average. So our maximum is 15. The maximum is 15. Average is 8.5. So the maximum minus the average is going to be 15 minus 8.5. And I like to think of this as 9, right? Round up. So 15 minus 9 is going to give us 15 minus 9 is going to give us 6. And then add that 0.5. All right. And there we go. So now we have our last step, which is to put it in the formula, absolute value of x minus the average, which was 8.5, equals the difference of the average, the maximum, and the average, which was 6.5. And that's it. Okay. And if you want the formula for the average, I should write this down. Okay, it's the minimum plus the maximum divided by 2. It's going to be like that for these problems. Okay? All right.